What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Welcome to the Friday Watch Rant, and today we're gonna have a very happy rant because we're talking about Oris. All right, we all know and love Oris from their more rugged tactical offerings from the Pro Pilot series all the way to the kind of more elegant, refined Atelier line. Well, it all started here. It's 1:23 p.m. Let's get down to business. That's right. Now, this isn't Oris's first watch ever. I actually don't know where the picture is, but Gato, you're going to put it somewhere. That's not Oris's first watch ever, but it is their first automatic watch coming out in 1952. Now, all you got to do is take a quick glance at the dial and you'll notice Oris was way ahead of their time, right? It has, looks like it has a power reserve indicator, it has small seconds down by the 6 o'clock. It's just got a lot more dynamic than you're used to seeing from a wristwatch from the 1950s. And this is very cool, okay? Oris might be cooler than we thought. I mean, we all know about modern Oris, but what about vintage Oris? Well, one of my favorite vintage Orises from the 1970s is the Chronoris. And that's right, the 1970 Chronoris was actually Oris's first chronograph ever. Now it's around 38 millimeters, powered by a 17 joule 725 hand wind movement. And guess what? You can find these vintage racing chronographs for like under $2,000. And that 1970s Cal 725 Oris is actually a nice segue to this 1970s Cal 712 Oris that I have on my wrist today. Now this baby's got a 36 millimeter lug to lug and it wears quite nicely on my 7.5 inch wrist. Again, guys, lug to lug, much more important of an indicator when it comes to how much real estate a watch will take up on your wrist than simply diameter, okay? Always look at the lug to lug. And this baby wears very, very slim at just around 10 millimeters thick. And in very 1970s fashion, this watch has got almost like a sunburst brown dial, and it plays with the light very, very well. Again, with those sharp applied indexes, it looks very nice. But again, sunburst brown, not typically a combination you think of nowadays, but for the 1970s, yeah, I could see it. Browns, oranges, that was like a thing in the 70s, right? Shag carpet, I don't know. So yeah, okay, the 1970s, very, very good for Oris, right? They released their first ever chronograph. They had some really nice hand-wound pieces right around that decade, but what happened right after that? Well, Oris, along with many other watchmakers, they weren't immune to the quartz crisis, so Oris released this very quartz crisis Oris Versailles. 26 by 34 millimeters, almost like a gold tank type thing. It's got a date window down by the 6 o'clock. Honestly, I would wear this for sure. But as cool as I think this very quartz crisis-y watch is, it didn't sell very well. And we gotta be totally honest, Oris didn't do very well during the quartz crisis. And that's probably why by 1992, Oris had switched all production strictly to mechanical watches, okay? They weren't making any quartz watches from that point on. Now, honestly, as just a little aside, I'd be very interested to see if in the near future Oris comes out with like a really high-tech, high-frequency quartz movement because, you know, they're trying some new things, especially with the Pro Pilot X. But guys, this is actually something that I really applaud Oris for, and I don't think we give them enough credit for this. Oris is a very, very deliberate company when it comes to designing and introducing watches onto their roster. So okay, Oris started out making mechanical watches, but then they were smart enough to see a trend, so they made a few quartz watches for a little while. But then they were able to see the writing on the wall, and they refused to become a victim of the quartz crisis, okay? They weren't going down. So what they did, they made a hard decision. We're switching to mechanical. We're switching back to mechanical. We do that well. Screw quartz watches, and they survived. And guys, this clearly worked out for them, right? Because now we have watches like the Oris Aquis, we have the Atelier series, and we have the Pro Pilot X. And I'm very excited to see what Oris comes out with next. Now, I've said it before, and I will say it again, and this is where the rant gets serious. Oris makes some of the most consistently robust, reliable, impressive watches for a very, very affordable price when you consider how much watch you're getting. And that's why Oris deserves a little bit more credit, and I think Oris is a little bit cooler than we thought. But guys, as always, let me know what you think. How do you feel about Oris? Do you own any of them? Do you have an Aquas? Do you have a Pro Pilot? Which one do you like? Which one do you hate? Leave me that comment in the comment section and I will see you there. And guys, a little shameless plug, this little 1970s hand-wind Oris was found at the Time Teller shop, and after this episode is filmed, it's getting packaged and sent over to another happy home. And yeah, if you want to find some watches just like this, serviced with a 1-year warranty, check out www.thetimetellershop.com and pick up one for yourself. Again, I don't know if I'll find another one of these because this one is sold, but you get the point. And if you really want to support the channel, then again, check out my website, check out the Amazon store, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon, share this with everyone you know, like, comment, subscribe. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time, I just tell it. Real quick, if you enjoyed this episode, then do not worry, the fun doesn't need to stop here. Check out these recommended episodes that are going to be popping up on the screen anytime now. Also, take a moment, check out my brand new channel, the Time Away channel. It's where I talk about everything outside of the watch world, some of my other collections, some of my other hobbies. And if you're not interested in any of that, don't worry, just stay right here and I will see you right here. Because I never leave. I am trapped inside of this camera.